Hi, and welcome to this edition of Simply Simmons. I'm Deandra Simmons, and it is Valentine's week in progress. So I'm making a cheesecake because the men in my family love cheesecake. But I'm going to be making a sour cream cheesecake because I love the extra kick from the sour cream. And I'm not a real big sweets maker, so this is a big deal, okay? So you want to watch this edition. But I'm making a French sour cream cheesecake called Cheesecake Cocaine, something like that. It's not cocaine cheesecake, just so you know, but it kind of sounds like that, so we're not gonna say that anymore, okay? We're gonna call it sour cream cheesecake on Simply Simmons this week. First, to get started, I'm going to be making my crust. Now, I prefer a graham cracker crust. New York cheesecake has more of a shortbread crust, and I may make that at some point, but today we're going with graham cracker because we like graham cracker. So it's very simple. I just picked up some graham cracker crumbs, basically from my local grocery store. I'm gonna put everything now in my Cuisinart food processor. So you take 1 1/2 cups of the graham cracker crumbs. Then we're gonna take a 1/4 cup. Is that right? I don't have my glasses on, people. Yeah, a 1/4 cup of sugar. And then I have added, you don't have to do this, but I like the cinnamon, the little kick of the cinnamon. By the way, it's good for you if you're eating cheesecake. You might as well put something in there that's good for you, right? So a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Get that off. And last but not least, we have about 6 tablespoons of melted butter. And I've already pre-melted it, so you don't have to wait and watch me do that. So that's gonna go in here into my food processor, which is probably my favorite tool, that and my KitchenAid mixer. Okay, so now that all of that's in there, put the pan down, and I'm going to pulse it in the food processor so I think it's ready. Now let me get a spatula and see where we are. Oh, look at that. It's my Andy Cohen spatula from Williams-Sonoma. How cute. Okay, let me try this out. We may need to do a little bit more pulsing to get that butter incorporated. Oh God, it smells so good. I mean, you can't go wrong with a graham cracker crust. My favorite pie is really key lime pie, and my husband loves cheesecake. When we were dating, I made a cheesecake and took it to the first family Thanksgiving that I went to in Ohio, in Dayton, Ohio, where he's from, and it was a big hit. So that's one of the ways I sealed the deal, because you know, Mama D says the way to a man's heart is not only, but through his stomach too, you know, a little bit higher up. Okay, so we're ready with the graham cracker crust. It's been pulsed enough, and like I said, it smells good. Now, before that, I took one of my Springform pans. This is like a cheesecake pan. Can't think of what size it is, but it's a round Springform pan. This is made by, looks like Kaiser. And I pre-greased it, and I used Crisco. You can use any kind of oil, whatever you like. I like to use Crisco. Any kind of oil, meaning do not use olive oil. You cannot use that. I mean, you use like some plain, you know, vegetable oil or something like that, or Crisco, or, you know, sometimes I've used butter, but it tends to burn, so I try not to do that. So we're going to then put this crust, this crumbled, going to be the crust, into this pan on the bottom, and then we're going to press it down really nice, and we're going to bake it. So we will obviously have this recipe up later, and you know, don't be afraid to make cheesecake. When I made it the first time, I was afraid. I thought that sounds sounds like a really hard dessert, and it's really not hard. I mean, it's like a few ingredients, and it doesn't take a lot of time. And if I can do it, trust me, I'm not a sweets cook, like I said. If I can do it and my family loves it, trust me, you can do it too. Okay. So, now that you've got the graham cracker into the pan, take a glass, isn't that cute? And mash it down, because you want it to be even and flat. And I found that you can use your hands too. I use my hands as well, but the glass works really well. So, and with this, I'm not putting it up on the sides or anything. So I'm just putting it around the bottom. Some people, I know that, I believe I think Alton Brown has a recipe where he does it on the sides, and he uses a different type of pan than I'm using. But I love my cheesecake pans, my Springform, and I am just gonna put it on the bottom and make the bottom crust. So, to each his own, whatever you wanna do. I'm putting mine just on the bottom. And also, I mean, I'll tell you honestly, if you're gonna do it on the sides, it's gonna be hard to keep that graham cracker attached and you know, even and everything else. But you know, if you like to make sweets, go for it. I like to make easy sweets in my house. Okay, so we are done. There's my base right there. There's the graham cracker crust. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in a 350-degree oven, and we are going to let it bake for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and let it cool for a little bit and make the filling. Okay, so now I'm going to put the crust in a 350-degree oven, like I said, and we're going to bake it. I'll check it in 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so I actually ended up leaving the crust in there for 15 minutes because I like a little more golden color. So there it is. Now, I'm gonna let that cool while I make filling. Okay, so I've made my graham cracker crust and it's cooling, not too much because I'm gonna go ahead and put my cheesecake filling in because I'm making a sour cream cheesecake today. So I have already put 1.5 pounds of cream cheese into my mixer, and that is 16, let's see, so 16 ounces is a pound, another 8 ounces, so you got 3 packages of cream cheese. So that's gonna go ahead and go in my mixer, and then to that, I'm going to add a cup of sugar. So let me turn this on. Make sure you lock it. I tend to not lock it sometimes. Okay, go ahead and get the paddle going there. Now, I'm gonna gradually put in my cup of sugar. It's a little precarious at the beginning and it gets easy. Woo! Okay. A little bit at a time, so I'll let that incorporate. I mean, how can you go wrong with cream cheese and sugar, really? And then, okay, we've got that in. Now, I am going to use 2 teaspoons of vanilla. A lot of the cheesecake recipes go with 1, but I always add more vanilla. I add more vanilla in my cookies, in my cakes. I double all the vanilla all the time. Just remember that. Deandra doubles all the vanilla all the time. So we're gonna have 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. Vanilla makes everything better, trust me. Now, I'm gonna stop that really quick. Last but not least, I'm gonna add my eggs. Really important that when you're using all these ingredients, I let the cream cheese come to room temperature all day today. My eggs are at room temperature. Just makes for a better recipe all around. So, my first egg is going in. Now, you know, if I was smart, I would probably do this in a little glass bowl or something. But you know, I didn't say I was that smart. I can handle it. beauty, not brain sometimes, right? Okay, so you do the eggs one at a time. So that was egg number one. This right here, so. Egg number two. Fold that in, and while that's mixing, I'm gonna get ready to incorporate my very last egg. Okay, so here is my last egg. Wow, I did all three, and I did not get any shells into my batter. Very good, lock it back, and here we go. Now, when this is done incorporating, then I will take my spatula, make sure that it's all mixed up, and then we're gonna go ahead and put it into the graham cracker crust that I made. And then later on we'll come back and we're gonna make the sour cream topping, which, if you guys, I mean, I love sour cream topping. Anything that has like a sweet and sour taste to it that has my heart, for sure. When I was a little girl, we used to go to, in California, we had a home. I think we used to go to Marie Callender's where they had the pies, and I would order the sour cream. I think it was sour cream pie. It was probably sour cream cheesecake, but it was really good, and I loved it. Okay, yeah, this needs to go a little bit more. Okay. Wow. Now there's a little few more lumps in here, so I didn't use my whisk attachment. I could, I just wasn't quite sure about that. But you know what? I can put it on now and try it out. So let me put my whisk on, and then the whisk will probably make it all fold in perfectly with no lumps and no bumps. Like I told you before, this is not my forte, so I'm learning along with you. Okay, I'm going to use the whisk attachment next and see if that can get the rest of the lumps and bumps out of there. I don't have my glasses on, so oop, did it. Okay, one more last valiant effort. Yeah, that's gonna work. Okay, so whisk attachment, definitely the way to go. So if you have a KitchenAid, definitely use your whisk. And I'm going to wipe this off, and then I will pour my ingredients in. I bet this tastes really good. Oh my God, how can you go wrong with anything with cream cheese in it? And sugar, are you kidding me right now? And that vanilla, oh my God, I could just lick this all off of Jeremy right now. Too bad he's not here, he's at the gym. Don't tell him I said that, he will go, oh really, let's do that later. Okay, okay, here, you know men, when you say lick, they're like, what? What'd you say? What is lick? What are we licking? Okay, just fold that in. Oh, that's beautiful. You see? It's beautiful, and it's gonna taste delicious when we do this sour cream topping. Okay. Lord, I did a lot of Pilates today, and everything in my body hurts, including my arms. Oof. My arms, my tummy, my butt, everything hurts. Okay. So, oops. There we go. Now, the one thing I didn't do is adjust my oven, so I'm gonna have to turn it down a little bit and then I'll be right back and I'll put it in, because you want to put it in a 300-degree oven, and I forgot to turn my oven down from the 350, so I'll be right back. So we're going to let that baby cook for 45 to 55 minutes. So in 45 minutes, I'm going to check the middle and see where we are, and then I'll know whether or not I continue to bake. Okay, so now while the cheesecake is cooking in the oven, I'm gonna just go ahead and make my sour cream topping, because it is a sour cream cheesecake, as I told you. So first you need 1 cup of sour cream. I'm just gonna put all this in before I whisk around. So take my 1 cup. I always fill it a little more than 1 cup if it's a 1 cup, and I'm gonna leave part of it on the sides. So there's that. And then I already have right here a 1/4 cup of the sugar, incorporating that. And then I have, let's see, 1/8 teaspoon, just regular salt. And with baking, I just try to stay with regular salt. I don't try to fancy it up unless I'm doing it as a finish and I want like a fleur de sel or something, which I always do most of the time on my cookies. Okay, so we're back to the vanilla, and normally it's a tablespoon of vanilla. I'm putting 2 because I double the vanilla. Remember, Deanna doubles her vanilla all the time. So, and you're like, oh, that's a lot of vanilla. Yes, but it's gonna taste so good, trust me. Trust me when I tell you to double your vanilla. So that's gonna be my topping. Very, very simple. But when you put it on the cake, it needs to be completely cooled. So I'm making this ahead of time a little bit and putting it in the refrigerator. So I'm ready to go. Okay, locked and loaded. I am going to zest 1 or 2 lemons, and I am going to incorporate that zest into my sour cream and sugar and vanilla topping that I've made. So I'm actually going to zest 2 lemons. That way I can decide how much exactly that I want in here. I thought I was going to start with a tablespoon, but I'm going to start with a teaspoon and see how that goes. I think a teaspoon's going to be good. A really packed in there teaspoon of lemon zest. Okay. It's very fragrant. That's the ticket. A little lemon zest never hurt anybody. Okay, that's gonna be our topping. So we're gonna put that on once the cheesecake cools. Okay, so we actually decided to go to 60 minutes because I thought that that's what the perfect time would be. And I'm right, look, you want barely jiggles. So take this out so you can see. Barely jiggles in the middle. And that, my friend, is a beautiful cheesecake. Well, my cheesecake has cooled, and I'll show it to you. Now, Isella said, is this supposed to be cracked like that? And yes, almost every cheesecake I've ever seen out of the oven after it cooled has some sort of crack. And that's just my signature for today. Anyway, so it's come out really beautiful, and now I'm gonna add my topping. Now, I had enough time, just so you guys know, that I made a full dinner while this is cooling. I made taco salad for the family. We ate, we cleaned up, and we're back. So, if you think it's too long making a cheesecake, you know, think about your day. I mean, for me, it worked out great because I was letting it cool while I was making their dinner. Now this is gonna be that sour cream topping that I made. And put it right on top. Okay. Now there, you can just shake it and see how great it looks. Beautiful. And then you can shake it from side to side to fill out the whole pan. There's just a little bit more if you want to use it. Put it over here. I'm going to let the sour cream set on the top, and then I am going to remove it from the mold, okay? Because I think that once I put it in the refrigerator and it chills, it's really gonna all come together and it's gonna look beautiful when I remove it. Welcome back to Simply Simmons. Yesterday I made this sour cream cheesecake, and after it was done I was going to take it out, but I changed my mind to let it sit in the refrigerator for almost 24 hours because I knew that everything needed to settle and gel. And actually I'm going to let it sit another 24 hours before we eat it, but I'm going to take it out now. Moment of truth for my sour cream cheesecake. Ooh, look, there we go. Ooh. So I've washed my spreader and I'm gonna take it, and just like I did the sides, I'm gonna go around the bottom of my cake here, and I'm gonna release it because remember we oiled these pans before, so it shouldn't be too difficult. But like I said, guys, I don't make desserts that much, so, you know, I'm learning along with you, but it's gonna slide right off now. So I'm gonna put it on my cake plate. There's no need to be afraid, just because I was, so I'm taking all the risk in advance. You could do this too. Okay, woo! Oh, perfection, yes! Now, isn't that a beautiful sour cream cheesecake? I can't wait to taste it. Thank you for watching Simply Simmons. Woo!